So guys, I just got back from a frogging weekend at the cabin, scum frogging bass, and got a really nice pike on the scum frog too, so had a great weekend. Unfortunately, right before I left, my frog rod broke, so this is what I was using for a frog rod. It's a Berkeley Lightning Shock, 7-foot medium heavy fast action, so pretty decent frog rod, you know, it's strong. Hoist the fish in nice. It was only 50 bucks, which is pretty good. And you know, frog rods kind of take a lot of abuse, so I didn't want to spend a ton of money on it. But so I think how this happened, I was shoving it into my rod holder that I take on my stand-up paddleboard, and as I was putting it into here, maybe the reel, which is the Lew's Mock Crush, that's the reel I'm using for frogging. I think as I was throwing it into the rod holder, or not throwing it, but I'd set it in there and just drop it from a foot or two. I think after doing that enough times, the reel kind of pushed up on this reel seat. And I don't know if you can see that or not, but this reel seat is cracked here. So yeah, you can see that it's pulling apart. It got cracked, and I set the hook on a probably 1 pound largemouth, and the reel actually like came out of the reel seat because this crack here is preventing it from holding it nice and firm in place. So I tried to duct tape it a little bit and see if that would work, and it really didn't work that well. And I was like, that's a really janky setup, and I don't want to be losing any fish because of that. So I ordered a new frog rod, and of course I wanted to go to the cabin, which is probably the best frog lake I've ever fished on. And I ordered this rod, and it came on Tuesday at like 2 p.m. and I had left for the cabin at Tuesday at like 8 a.m. So I missed out. I did not get to use my new frog rod at the cabin, but that's okay. I was using a number 8 hell-bent rod. This is just kind of a rod that I used to have, and I put it off to the side right now. I haven't really used it in the last year. I kind of just had it as a backup just in case, and I used it up at the cabin. Worked out pretty well, but in my last video, catching fish on frogs, I said that it was almost like bringing a knife to a gunfight, and it kind of is, because this number 8 hell-bent rod is a medium action rod. It's not a medium heavy or a heavy, it's a medium action rod. And as you can see, it is very flexible. Medium action, look at that, I can bend it quite a ways. So when you're trying to fish frogs, that's not quite ideal. It's not quite as easy to hoist them out with a medium action rod, and that's why I said it was like bringing a knife to a gunfight. Fortunately, it worked okay. It did the job. You know, I lost a couple fish because I wasn't able to get them out of the cover, but I caught probably over 25 or 30 bass on this. So the one good thing about the medium action rod is that it does load up a little bit. It does have a good tip. It casts these lighter frogs, like the original scum frog, very well. Hopefully the heavy action rod will cast that as good. But now I am retiring the knife, and I am unboxing the gun. This is a Savage Gear, I don't remember the name. I got a couple Savage Gear rods. They're called the Browser rod. That was like their first US market entry-level rod. And I forgot what this is called. I will tell you guys once I open it and figure it out. But I don't remember exactly what it is either. I think it's like a 7.4 heavy action, made specifically for frogs. So this is going to work much better. Make sure everything's fine here. The great thing about Tackle Warehouse ordering a rod is they really package it safely in that big cardboard tube, and then they put some extra packaging around the tip. A lot of times when you're shipping, that tip will just like poke into the end of that rod box or whatever they got it boxed in, and it can break. I've ordered a rod from Tackle Warehouse before, or not Tackle Warehouse. Tackle Warehouse is phenomenal. I've ordered a rod from Amazon before and it came with the tip broken off. So, no more ordering from Amazon, just ordering from Tackle Warehouse. They box it up very nicely. I've ordered, I think, this is my 4th or 5th rod from Tackle Warehouse and I have never had a problem. So, Squad it's called. So this is a Savage Gear Squad rod. This is a 7.4 heavy power fast action rod. I think the model on Tackle Warehouse too said it was frogging was like the main application you'd use this for. Made in China, sweet. So Savage Gear is a European company and the rod is made in China. Outsourcing, but hey, it's like 90 bucks. Looks pretty sweet. I wasn't sure about the camo. I've never really been a fan of camo, but it's actually not too bad at all. So that's what it looks like. Nice thick rod here. Very lightweight. Definitely heavy action. I mean, you can see that the thing is barely flexing at all. So this is almost like a pool cue, but hopefully it still casts the frog really nice. That little whip on the medium action definitely casted it nice, but just to have the powerful rod to be able to hoist it out there farther is very nice. So reel's gonna go on there. I was gonna show you my browser rod over here too. I got 2 of them actually. So this one is kind of the model that they had before they switched to that Squad rod there. So I kind of like this one a little bit better design wise with this gray and black camo. Kind of matches different things a little bit better than that green, brown, and tan normal camo, but oh well. I think it'll look alright. So I'm gonna put the rod on there. Again, this is a Lew's Mock Crush. I think this might be discontinued now. And it's been a decent reel. I started using it for frogs because it has, I think, like 20 pounds of drag. It's got quite a bit of drag for a low profile bait caster. And it does cast pretty well. It's got these oversized wind grips and the strong handle. If I were to do it over again, I'd probably go with a Tatula 200 and not the Lew's Mock Crush. So if you're in the market for a frog reel, I would probably suggest the Tatula 200 or maybe even the Shimano Tranx 200 or even a Corrado K is a pretty good, pretty strong reel. This is the only reel I've tried from Lew's before, and like I said, it is a pretty good reel. I'm definitely going to use it until it doesn't work anymore because frogging is pretty hard on reels. Just pulling fish through all the lily pads and all the garbage and everything. It's pretty hard on a reel's gears, so you definitely do not want like a 100 size reel when you're doing frog fishing. You want to go all out. You want to get some strong gears on there. At least a 150 size reel, probably even a 200 because you're going to be filling it up with like 40, 50, even 65 pound braid depending on what you like to use. Right now, I had this Mock Crush. I have 30 pound test braid on here, and I definitely would not recommend doing that. I don't know why I put 30 pound test braid on here. I don't think I had any 40 or 50 at the time. So I was like, well, 30 will do. I'll just put the 30 on there for now. And it's definitely strong enough. I've never broke the line trying to pull fish in. But the problem with 30 pound test braid is it is so thin. So when you're frog fishing, you cast out, let's say like whatever, 100 feet, and you catch a fish out there 70 feet away, and then you got to pull it in 70 feet through the weeds, through everything. And while you're pulling it through there, you're really winding that line tight onto the reel because there's so much resistance on there. And this 30 pound test line, the braid is so thin in diameter that when you're pulling it in through that heavy cover and you're putting a lot of resistance on it, it'll pack the line on there really tightly. And since it is so thin, it gets packed on there really tight. You take your fish off, you go to take your next cast, and the line is just kind of buried in itself. And a lot of times you'll cast and it'll just go to eventually where that line is packed too tight and it'll just stop. And it's almost like a backlash, except it doesn't spool out because it's so tight on there, it just stops moving. So I would definitely recommend 40 at a minimum if you're frog fishing, and you can even go up to like 65. Just to make sure that, again, you're not winding that line on there too tight. It really sucks. Every time I was frog fishing at the cabin this weekend, I'd cast out, catch a fish, hook it, reel it in, threw a bunch of crap, and the next cast I just knew. I was just like, oh, let's take a light, easy cast here because I know the line is just going to stop spinning because it's wound down there so tight. So definitely minimum of 40-pound test braid. Even like 50 is probably better because it's not as thin a diameter and it's not going to wind too tight on there. The one downside is it's really like if you get stuck in just so much lily pads and crap that you need to break the line, 50-pound test line just does not break. So you're probably going to have to pull the boat in to go get the frog because it's very hard to break the 50-pound test line. But again, much less of a headache casting that. So here it is. Here's the new setup. I've talked a lot. A lot of you guys are probably like, just shut up and we're done with this video. But if you stuck around this long, thanks for watching. This is the new setup right here. New frog setup. It's got the camo, black and orange and camo. That kind of looks a little goofy, but it's not too bad. And then just the black Savage Gear Squad rod. Again, 7.4 heavy power, fast action. I will be throwing exclusively frogs with this probably. Actually, you know, it'd be a pretty good setup for like lighter pike or muskie fishing too. Once I put 40 or 50-pound braid on there, throw in small bucktails or something like that. But yep, here it is. Can't wait to take it out, test it out, see how I can hoist those fish in a lot better. If you have any questions about the Savage Gear Squad rod here, like I said, I've asked in the comment section. Like I said, I've had the browsers now for about a year each, and both of those have been phenomenal. This one seems to be like a newer model and even better. So if you have any questions about it, if you want me to update you guys on it, just ask in the comments below and I'll let you know my feelings on it. But for a $90 rod, this thing is really sweet, and I'm really hoping it's going to help me hoist those frog fish in a lot better and not miss any of them. So that's going to be it for today, guys. Very excited to throw this new frog setup, and I will link one of my recent frog videos in the comments for you guys where I caught some nice bass and a nice pike at the cabin. Hopefully you guys enjoy that video. Thanks for watching. I will see you guys next time.